Imagine waking up to the sound of air raids instead of alarm clocks. That's the grim reality for the people of Gaza today. The Gaza Strip, a small coastal enclave on the eastern Mediterranean, is currently trapped in a crisis that's escalating with each passing day. The ongoing conflict between Israel and the Gaza-based militant group Hamas has been marked by a series of airstrikes that have shaken the region to its core. These aren't isolated incidents, but part of a long-standing conflict that dates back decades. The recent escalation has resulted in a significant number of casualties, with hundreds of lives lost and thousands more injured. Not only are people's lives at risk, but the region's infrastructure, too, is under threat. Schools, hospitals, and homes have been reduced to rubble, leaving countless families displaced and in dire need of humanitarian aid. The international community is not standing idly by. Nations around the world, along with international organizations, are making concerted efforts to mediate the situation, attempting to bring about a ceasefire and negotiate peace. However, the road to resolution is fraught with complex political and historical challenges. This crisis isn't just about a geopolitical struggle, it's about the daily lives of the people in Gaza, who are caught in the crossfire of a conflict that shows no signs of slowing down. Their resilience and hope, despite the adversities they face, is a testament to the human spirit. Yet, they continue to live under the constant threat of violence, a reality that most of us cannot even begin to comprehend. As the world watches in anticipation, the people of Gaza face another uncertain day in their long history of strife. Beyond the headlines, there are real people whose daily lives are shaped by this crisis. Let's delve into a day in the life of a typical resident of Gaza. As the sun rises over the city, a new day begins. For the residents of Gaza, each day is a struggle for survival. The rhythm of life here is dictated not just by the rising and setting of the sun, but by the availability of basic necessities like food and water, and the constant specter of airstrikes. The first order of business is to secure food. With soaring food prices, even a simple meal is now a luxury. The fallout from the Ukraine war has exacerbated this issue, forcing many to give up their traditional meals. Some turn to the sea, casting nets in the hope of a good catch, while others barter at the local market, trying to make the most of their scarce resources. Water, too, is a precious commodity. The infrastructure has been severely affected, and clean water is hard to come by. Many Gazans spend a significant part of their day collecting water for their families, often walking long distances for it. The crisis also casts a long shadow over the education of children. Schools, once places of learning and laughter, now often stand empty, the silence broken only by the distant echoes of conflict. Yet, the resilience of these children is extraordinary. They gather in makeshift classrooms, eager to learn, their young minds a beacon of hope amid the despair. Fear is a constant companion in Gaza. The sound of an approaching aircraft can send hearts racing, the threat of airstrikes never too far away. And yet, life goes on. The streets are filled with the hustle and bustle of vendors, the laughter of children playing, and the call to prayer echoing from the minarets. As the day draws to a close, families gather together, sharing stories and meals, their bonds of love and kinship, a testament to their resilience. The night brings with it a brief respite from the struggles of the day, but also a time of reflection and prayer. As sun sets, it brings an end to another day of survival in Gaza, only to start over again the next morning. The airstrikes have not only taken lives, but also left a lasting impact on the city's infrastructure. Let's unpack the extent of this damage. In the aftermath of the airstrikes, Gaza's infrastructure has been left in tatters. Buildings that once stood tall are now reduced to rubble, a stark reminder of the devastation that has befallen the city. Many of these were more than just buildings. They were homes, places of business, and cherished landmarks that held a special place in the hearts of the locals. The destruction didn't spare the city's hospitals. These vital lifelines have been heavily damaged, leaving the healthcare system on the brink of collapse. With medical facilities destroyed, the injured are left with limited access to treatment, exacerbating an already dire humanitarian crisis. In a city where education is a beacon of hope for a better future, schools have not been exempt from the destruction. The ruins of these institutions symbolize a disruption in the education of thousands of children. The loss of these learning spaces threatens to create a generation deprived of education, with long-term implications for Gaza's future. Rebuilding is a monumental task. With limited resources and an economy already under strain, the path to recovery is steep. The cost of reconstruction is not just financial, but also emotional. Each brick laid in rebuilding is a testament to the resilience of the Gazans, but also a reminder of the trauma they've endured. The potential long-term effects of this destruction are far-reaching. Beyond the physical scars, the psychological impact on the city's inhabitants is profound. The trauma of losing homes, loved ones, and a sense of normalcy is a heavy burden to bear. The fear and uncertainty brought about by the airstrikes have left deep emotional wounds that will take time to heal. The physical scars may eventually heal, but the psychological impact of such destruction is far-reaching and long-lasting. The world is not just a spectator in the crisis. Many nations and organizations are actively involved in trying to mediate the situation. From the United Nations to individual countries, the international response to the crisis in Gaza is marked by a collective concern for the escalating situation. The United Nations has been at the forefront, with the Secretary General describing the situation as an unprecedented hunger crisis. This stark reality underscores the urgency of international intervention. Beyond the UN, individual nations have also expressed their concern. Israel, for instance, has found itself in a unique position, with the Israeli government releasing reports highlighting the misuse of Holocaust tropes during protests against COVID-19 measures, which they argue fuels global anti-Semitism. These reports underscore the complexity of the situation and the delicate balance of addressing the crisis while being mindful of the historical context. Meanwhile, Egypt is grappling with its own economic crisis, with high inflation and record currency devaluation. The government's recommendation for the people to switch to eating chicken feet, a symbol of extreme poverty, has been met with anger and frustration. This situation in Egypt is reflective of the broader hardship that many nations in the region are facing, further complicating the Gaza crisis. Further east, the repercussions of the Ukraine war have contributed to soaring food prices. The impact is felt not just in Ukraine, but also in Arab countries where the cost of sacrificial animals has skyrocketed during the Eid al-Adha festival, affecting traditional practices and deepening the sense of crisis. The international community, amid these complex realities, is striving to mediate the situation. Peacekeeping efforts are underway, with a focus on de-escalation and humanitarian aid. Yet the road to resolution is fraught with challenges, and the path to peace is elusive. As we navigate these complexities, one thing remains clear: the international community's role is crucial. Whether it's in the form of diplomatic efforts, humanitarian aid, or economic support, the world's response can and will shape the future of Gaza. As the international community seeks a resolution, the hope for peace in Gaza remains a distant dream. As we draw to a close on this deep dive into the crisis in Gaza, it's important to remember that behind every statistic, there's a human story. We've journeyed through the current crisis, experienced a day in the life of a Gazan, felt the impact of the airstrikes, and considered the international response to the crisis. The situation in Gaza is a serious one, with a multitude of factors converging to create unprecedented challenges for the people living there. From soaring food prices due to the Ukraine war affecting the tradition of sacrificing animals during the Eid al-Adha festival, to the ongoing airstrikes causing untold suffering and devastation, the Gazan people are living in a state of constant uncertainty and hardship. We've also taken a glimpse into the daily lives of Gazans, a life marked by resilience and courage amidst the struggle. The daily routines that we often take for granted take on a whole new level of complexity and challenge under these circumstances. The airstrikes by Israel have brought further pain and suffering to the people of Gaza. The human cost is immense, with innocent lives lost and infrastructure destroyed, affecting everything from healthcare to education. The international response to the crisis has varied, but the call for a peaceful resolution remains strong. The need for dialogue, understanding, and a commitment to human rights cannot be overstated. As we reflect on these realities, let's remember the human impact of the crisis and the importance of finding a peaceful solution. Each story we've shared today is but a snapshot of the broader narrative unfolding in Gaza, a narrative that reminds us of our shared humanity and our collective responsibility to promote peace and justice. We encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more updates. Your support helps us continue bringing these stories to light. Thank you, and stay safe.